Welcome to Rutabaga on the Rocks special edition bonus content edition.
Bonus content in addition to all the content we've produced over the past 7 months.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
This is your special weekend episode that comes out when we put it out.
Yeah.
If you've forgotten who I am, I'm Evan, one of the original hosts of
and
the
I'm
old
Jacob,
show.
Also one of the OGs. Yeah.
In fact, there's one of the lost tapes of the original podcast is of you and me.
That's right. And Adam was there?
I think Adam stepped in for a second, and I think Zeph stepped in for a second too.
Yeah.
So,
and then after that, we were like, maybe not.
Maybe that was our worst one.
I wonder if I still have that somewhere.
Oh, jeez. I would love to listen to it only because it's so bad. But yeah. Hi, Jacob. Nice to meet you. We haven't seen each other in a minute. And the impetus for this discussion is this goes back centuries.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
decades even.
At least 5 years.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, have you ever heard of the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Sorry, no. I only read DC comics.
Oh, that's fair. They are, in fact, the OG.
Fair enough.
I learned so much in comics and culture, mostly that I was the smartest person in that class. But I did not know, I genuinely did not know that DC came before Marvel in like comic creation and stuff. And like Marvel totally just, I wouldn't say ripped off, but like made better superheroes. Like I think they were like the ones who like made flawed superheroes, which is what you want. Because like you had your Superman, right?
Yeah. And your
Stop
Batman.
a speeding. Yeah, you got your Batman. Stop a speeding bat.
Yeah. Talk to bats.
Right. So dear audience member, this is a while back in college. Jacob and I saw Avengers Infinity War together.
Yeah. It was even more than that, right? Because I think we also saw Black Panther. Yeah, we saw Black Panther together.
I'm sure we saw Ragnarok. No, or was that just me? And
I think Guardians too.
Definitely saw Guardians too.
But I specifically remember Black Panther because you were working in the booth because it was a college.
Oh yeah.
Like a club event, like a dollar movie night, and I was just hanging out there with you.
That's right.
And we had some interesting conversations with people.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. We don't have to get into that now.
That's fine.
Maybe that's a story for another time.
Yeah, well, definitely not. Yeah. Do you think he stormed the Capitol? Okay.
I could see it.
I mean, wouldn't put it past him. So Jacob and I like Marvel movies. We like superhero movies because we're giant children. And because they're awesome and they're great.
Yeah.
However, these movies have their flaws. And tonight, in this very moment, Jacob and I are going to criticize every single Marvel movie in order, except for, well, I should say that. Do you want to?
Well, because I mean, I just want to say I'm not going to criticize all of them.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm probably going to be singing more praises.
All right. I'll take the unique perspective of a white man and be devil's advocate. I know that never happens. So, but Jacob and I have put together lists, one individual list, each of us. That doesn't make any sense. we've
We
watched
each,
through the Marvel movies.
yeah, because you started watching them with Phoebe,
Yes.
right?
Who had never seen them.
Yeah,
In
towards the beginning of quarantine.
Yes.
And then I was like, hey, that sounds like a great idea and a good excuse to watch these movies again. And so I did the same thing.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
Little asterisks here. I still have not seen Far From Home.
You haven't?
I haven't, because it's not available on Google Play movies, and it's like not available on Disney Plus either. So
you can rent it on Amazon.
Yeah, I don't like supporting Jeff Bezos.
Oh, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have taken steps. I used to buy all my games from Amazon, but now I do it from Best Buy.
Hey,
just jumping from one corporation to another.
I love it. So I have heard that it's a great movie, and yeah. I've not even seen trailers for it. So
yeah, then I'll say where it is in my ranking, but I won't say anything more about it.
There we go. Okay, fair. So the way that we're doing this is Jacob has not told me what his list is, or he has dictated it to me, and I've since forgotten what it is.
I definitely sent it to you.
I have proof right here. I'm sure you do. But I have my list, and we're gonna go back and forth. This is the 21 Marvel movies, not including Incredible Hulk, because
see, I do include that.
Well, it'd be at number 22 on mine, so like it's not. Yeah. It's like it's almost not worth talking about. Okay, so let's agree that Incredible Hulk, bad movie, on the bottom. All right, perfect. So
and I also have written down all of the things that they announced like a month ago.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice.
So we can talk about what we're most excited for and where we want things to go.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. I have a lot to say about Marvel Legends, like off the bat. Anyway, go into it.
All right.
Do you want to start at number 21? Do you want me to go first, since you know what my list is, and then you say what yours is?
Sure. I mean, I haven't studied your list. Maybe I'll go, since I have two additional movies.
Oh, that's fair.
So in total, there are 23 movies in the MCU.
Correct.
Including Hulk, including Far From Home. And so I feel like this is going to be similar for you. Number 23, Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Not great.
Not good.
And then 22, Thor: The Dark World.
Correct. That is the correct answer. Yeah.
And immediately 21, it's already like a big step up.
Yeah.
Like you can make a case and say like, yeah, these bottom two movies are boring, but I could make a case that from 21 up, they're all at least good.
Sure. Okay.
Or like you could watch again.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I agree. I think that what they did in Thor: The Dark World. Okay, so if I might, these are my okay. What?
I'll allow it.
Here.
I don't have a hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, use Mjolnir as a gavel?
That's right. Yeah.
Done that.
Oh shit! I have a gavel on my car keys.
That's right.
In watching these movies, I would say that save for like maybe phase one, I have only seen like phase one and Guardians and Black Panther. I had only seen these movies once.
Sure.
Before. And so watching them with someone who had never seen them like in total, or has seen them but like sporadically, and it was just a movie, new light was shed on these movies. So in general, I would like to say this about the Thor films, that the first two try really, really hard with the Norse mythology, and I think that is a really big hindrance, especially in the second film. That I feel like in the first movie, it's like, okay, it's kind of expected. It's an origin story. Origin stories can be difficult to begin with, because you have to, there's a lot of stuff you have to include. But I feel like with the second film, they were like, well, we got to talk about the Dark Elves. I mean, how can you not talk about the Dark Elves? And it's like, no, you don't, but you don't.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just kind of a problem that's inherently baked into like the comics themselves because they draw so much from that.
Fair.
And that's actually in general with the comics, that's drawing like characters in from mythology. I'm usually not a huge fan of, like past Thor and Loki.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like a cop out.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely see. Yeah, I get that. Although I do appreciate, at least in the first Thor, like that they go for it, and they got like Kenneth Branagh, who's like a accomplished Shakespearean actor director dude, to be like, this is what the vibe is that we're going for. And you definitely get that in some scenes. But we can get there when we talk about Thor 1 on our list.
Thor 1. Yeah. Well,
but Thor the Dark World, yeah.
Not bad. The next one up on my list is actually Thor.
So here we go. So this is number 21 for you.
This is yes.
Gotcha.
In what would be next for you? I'm just curious about.
So my number 21 above Hulk and Dark World is Iron Man 2.
Okay, yeah. Iron Man 2 is right above Thor for me. I feel like, so I think what we're gonna see is, hold the fuck up. Hold Jesus Christ. My phone is blowing up right now. My mom's drinking beer, everyone. I think I think that for me, Iron Man 2 and Thor could be switched in spots, but what I think, it's very difficult because Iron Man 2, the way some of my friends are rewatching the movies too, and I'm the big critic because they just love all of the movies. They can't find anything wrong with the movies. And as in they see Iron Man 2 and they're like, oh, it's Robert Downey Jr. He's so hot. I'm like, okay.
Hot's not the word I would use to describe him.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Like when I think RDJ, that's not the first word that comes to
mind. Sherlock Holmes.
Charming.
My problem with Iron Man 2 is it's pretty much let's take the first movie, do it again, except this time we have electric whips.
Yeah.
And I feel like it tries so little. So that's why I feel like Thor and Iron Man 2 could be on the same level. And I should say, the reason I put Thor down there is because there's not really a lot of substance to the movie. There's lots.
To Thor?
Yeah. I don't think, personally. I think that in lots of the other Marvel movies, the love interest, the Jane and Thor thing is so, like,
it's one of those things where it's like, you guys met 10 minutes ago. Right.
The believability of
I mean, I get it. It's Chris Hemsworth and it's Natalie Portman.
Don't get let's be honest here.
Yeah. I think in terms of substance for Thor, for me, there's a lot of issues with him, there's a lot of funny jokes with him being new to Earth and I need a horse when he walks into the pet store. That's good. There's good jokes of that kin, but maybe hold back a little bit. Like they kind of rely on that too much.
Yeah.
But I really like a lot of the stuff surrounding Thor, Loki, and Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
Like the scene in when Thor is making the run to get his hammer back, but then it doesn't happen, so he's captured by Coulson, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Loki's there, and they have that conversation. And it's like all Dutch angles.
Yeah.
It's like that's some really good stuff. like
Dutch
acting
Ankles was
from both
great
of them.
in A Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I do like that stuff.
Yeah.
I do have Thor above at 20 with Iron Man 2 at 21. So it's basically the same spot.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think that there are a lot of redeeming qualities for Thor, but it's so, I feel like Iron Man 2, I don't know. I feel like Iron Man 2 just really relied. I think a big problem that Iron Man 2 had was being like the second official MCU movie.
Yeah.
Because what you got is you've got Hulk, which doesn't exist, and then you've got Iron Man, and then you get a huge announcement of films, and then you've got Iron Man 2, and it's like, we just saw him. Like, I need a break. I need a minute for like Tony to like,
Sure.
I don't know, do something. And I genuinely feel like it's just kind of like you've got Iron Patriot, which is great.
That's lovely. 3.
That's 3.
Are you saying War Machine?
I guess War Machine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess I've got a lot of opinions about Iron Man 1, but that we'll get to. but yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, you get Hammer in Iron Man 2, which is great, but like,
and I love Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great
so
actor.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing very well.
Yeah, it's Sam Rockwell doing some funny stuff and RDJ doing RDJ things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the issues is so when it's like the party he has, because in that movie he's like has like the toxicity from the arc reactor or whatever, and he has that party where he gets drunk and then him and Rhodey fight.
Yeah,
like that stuff all just kind of falls flat for me.
Right. It's so.
Whoops, sorry about that.
No, it's unacceptable. It's so like the through line for all of the Marvel of all the Iron Man movies is, does the man make the suit or does the suit make the man? And like, it's so, I feel like it's so, I don't know. I feel like Tony's really just trying to like grapple with his morality in the second movie. And then it's just like such an unsatisfying ending where at the end they're just like, oh, they fixed it. Like,
yeah, he's not dying anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Right. So like this movie just didn't, it's fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to like, but yeah,
yes,
that's why it's down there.
Yeah. Who played Whiplash in that movie?
Oh, Mickey Rourke.
Right. Which like big name, but like,
yeah, he didn't really do anything. Yeah. No. I want my bud.
Right. The bird did a better job.
Yeah.
All right, so next on my list is Ant-Man.
Okay.
I say that because Ant-Man, I think, is a good watch. You've got some good bits. You've got some really funny things. Yep. You got some good lines. But the first time I went to see this movie, my friend and I got the extra large popcorn and the extra large sodas because it was the hottest deal.
Of course.
And I had to pee so bad at the part where like they're fighting in the Pym building, and I had to leave right at that moment, and I left and I came back and I still understood the entire movie. And like, that's the climax of the film, right?
Sure.
Other thing, I feel like it relies so heavily on tropes. Like, who's the bad guy in Ant-Man?
Yellow Jacket.
Right.
Cross. Yeah.
Tall, bald guy who wants to have an autonomous nano army to take over the world. I mean, like, let's be a little bit more heavy-handed about the villainy here. I mean, like, especially the baldness. I mean, that's probably holdover from the comics. Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, it's just so like, yep, it's the bad guy. And don't get me wrong. I think I laugh in it. I think it's so tropey for me. It's just really tropey, and that's my problem. And yeah,
I can see that. I think they explain why he's so villainy like well enough to explain it away where it's just like him like having so much exposure to like the Pym particle stuff is
Sure.
messing with his brain. But yeah, I do wish there was like more to him
Right.
than just he was my mentor and he betrayed me or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. Ant-Man will show up higher on my list than 19, but yeah, I can see what you're saying about it being like kind of too similar to other origin stories.
Well, and again, this is the fault of an origin story. I think that in general, I'll say this time and time again, it's hard to do an origin story like it is. I mean, you've got to rely on the source content or anger your fans, right? Paul Rudd is an American gem.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He's truly, yeah. He's I'll end my comments there.
Yeah, he carries that thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, everybody's good at it. Like
yeah.
Michael Douglas doesn't phone it in.
No, absolutely.
Even though he does, job. Unfortunately, in this movie, have a lot of the like scientific exposition stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of falls to him. What's his name? Michael Pena. Is good.
Yeah.
In that recap stuff, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
So that's 19 for you?
Yes.
So 19 for me is Iron Man 3. Which
that's interesting. Okay.
I mean, I really, so even by the time we get to Iron Man 2, I like number 21 on the list. These are all movies I liked at this point. I like Iron Man 3 because I mean, like you mentioned, does the suit make the man, that all that stuff. It's basically that to the nth degree.
100%.
But I love that like they actually show him doing stuff without the suit. I love tackling his PTSD, which is something they don't really get into with other characters outside of like.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we get it from Thor later on with all the trauma and stuff, but like around this time period, like after Avengers 1, this is really the only time we see that kind of thing.
Right, definitely.
And I love all that stuff. And the kid is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. What I really like about Iron Man 3 is that it's finally Tony's finally like tackling like oh geez, what am I thinking about? Like he's finally like realizing like, oh, I'm not immortal. Like it had gone to his head, like all of the suit stuff. But like I don't know. The reason it's higher on my list is because Tony is a significantly more likable character in this film. Yeah. And I like Killian is a very weird character. He's got like weird motives. Don't get me wrong. Like it's very odd, but I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I've got opinions about Gwyneth Paltrow, but it was nice to see her more than just like a side piece in this film. And that's another reason why she's higher. It's higher up on my list. And I don't know. And the kid's good. I feel like I think this one had like the most, like, this was one of the films where it was like superheroes are people. And I think that's what the second film wanted to get at, but they just didn't know how to. I don't know. So that's
one thing, because I'm like, what don't I like about this movie? And one thing that does, I mean, I like Ben Kingsley and that twist.
That's a great twist.
Yeah. Like I like it. A lot of people don't like it because it's not faithful to the comics. Okay. And I like it.
It's a completely different universe.
However, I like, part of me does wish, like with his like the Mandarin's broadcasts that are like terrifying. I do kind of wish like we got that throughout the whole movie. Like that would have been sick.
That would have been so good. That would have really brought it up a bunch of notches. Wow. Amazing. Okay. We got a lot of movies to go through here.
Yeah. Just syncing up our numbers real quick. My 18, because Ant-Man was your 18.
Right.
My 18 is Doctor Strange.
Whoa.
Wow. It's surprising. Like when I looked at my list the other day, because I was talking to someone else about it, and I was just like looking through it, and I was like, how did Doctor Strange end up so low? And I think it's just because like I had it towards the middle of the pack when we watched it, and then everything after that is just killer.
Wow.
So
That's
it is
so interesting.
I do really like this movie.
Yeah.
It just happened that way, I guess.
Doctor Strange is significantly higher on my list.
Yeah.
I think
that's fair.
I think that Doctor Strange is one of the better origin stories. I think that they did a really good job. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch throws it out the park. Of course he does.
Yeah.
Hits it out the park is, I think, the phrase.
Yeah. If you throw it out of the park, you're probably going to get ejected from the stadium.
You got Mads. What's his face?
Mikkelsen, yeah.
Mads
Hannibal.
Mikkelsen. Yeah. Who does an amazing job always.
Yeah. I love him.
He's great.
Yeah.
You've got what's her face with no eyebrows?
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton. She's great.
The ancient one. It's funny how I'm getting this.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. And you've got what's her nose, the love interest.
Rachel McAdams.
Yes, which like rewatching that movie, I was like, oh right, like she's in this movie.
Yeah.
Because like I had totally forgotten that she was like in it. I don't know. I feel like, and I think what they do really well is that they don't really like they spice in enough of her in the movie that like it's not like a Pepper Potts thing. It's not like a Jane Peggy. Foster thing. Yeah, it's Jane, not a Peggy thing, right? It's yeah.
It is its own unique thing. One of my favorite parts of Doctor Strange is when he goes back to the hospital after he gets hurt in that one fight. And she's like, "Oh, so you joined a cult?" And like that whole exchange.
Yeah,
he's wearing like robes.
Right. Yeah.
I love all that stuff, and it helps ground it. Even
definitely.
Though everything you've been seeing for the past like hour and a half is like super trippy effects and magic stuff, and like I do appreciate the realm of magic stuff that Doctor Strange puts in the universe.
I think something that they do really well in that movie is they don't focus a lot on him being a shitty person. They like, I mean, you get it enough that you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like Stephen Strange is a piece of shit. But like, it's not the entire movie. It's not like an Iron Man 1 where it's like, okay, I got it. Like it took Tony this entire movie to realize that he's not, that he, right. Like to change his whole company's perspective and such. Like we get enough of that we can kind of get into enough action to see wibbly wobbly stuff. Right. And we get to see some really cool things and it sets us up. I think that I'm curious if like the writers had like, they were like, look, this is our lineup of movies and like this is the next Doctor Strange movie, so you have to fit all of this stuff in. Because if that was the case, I think they did a bang up job. So
just trying to think of things that would be a reason for why it is so low for me.
Sure.
I think I mean some of the Wong jokes are a little heavy-handed. Like I like the actor. He was in an episode of What We Do in the Shadows. I don't know if you watched that.
No, I don't, but I should.
He was a guest star. And it was good. But yeah, some of that stuff just kind of falls flat. And I do wish they had Mads Mikkelsen do more.
Yeah, you don't,
because he's a similar Yellow Jacket. Yeah, it's similar to Yellow Jacket, where it's just like he's kind of just an evil dude.
Right. Yeah. No. Like from like the first time you see him, you're like, oh, he's evil. Got it. Cool.
Like no, I bet those huge like cracked around your eye stuff. I bet that means you're great.
I'm sure that you just need to exfoliate and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I do think some of like the library like jokes and like Wong listening to like Beyonce.
Oh, to Beyonce, yeah.
Like I mean, like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like Beyonce too.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? Queen Bee, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Doctor Strange is we'll meet Doctor Strange once more. So number 17 for me is Iron Man.
Interesting.
Yes. So when I saw it in theaters. I've seen all of these in theaters except for Homecoming. I I really loved the Iron Man movie because I was like, heck yeah, Tony Stark, heck yeah, I want that cell phone. But like, you get the same kind of deal. Obadiah, like, be more heavy-handed, big, tall, bald guy. Like, he's like Tony's right hand man.
Sure.
I think I have a problem. I think, like I was saying about Doctor Strange, so like such a big portion of the movie is like, okay, like we get it, Tony's an asshole. Hold on, you froze. Okay, there you're good. We get
No,
a lot
that's
of
just
like,
me. I freeze a lot.
I'm sorry, I've been living in Zoom too much. It, I feel like they really drag out the first movie a lot, and I don't. Again, it's an origin story. I think it's really difficult to do, but I think I have problems with just like the heavy-handed Obadiah stuff, and like I don't know. It just, when I think back on the movies, I wish we'd have done this like fresh out the gate, seeing the movies, but like it just it leaves a lot to be desired for me, and that's why I like the other Iron Man movie. Well, that's why I like Iron Man 3 more than Iron Man 2. But so for me, that's those are the this is the best Iron Man movie, I think. Oh no, Iron Man 3 is definitely higher on my list. But,
I mean, that's interesting because when I watched this, because this is the first movie of all of it, and like I watched it and I was like, I can't believe how well this holds up. Because like I've seen it so many times.
Sure.
Because it's like one of those movies that's always on FX, even though I don't have cable. I mean, we have Sling now, but back when it was just cable, it was so easy to just be like, oh, what's on? Oh, Iron Man's on again? Okay, I'll just put that on in the background. And like I was expecting to be a little fatigued of it, but it's still like RDJ just kills it. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like since it was their first movie and they were kind of like working out the story and the script like on set, it has kind of like an indie improv feel to it in some scenes, and I dig it.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. I think a compliment to RDJ is that I don't like him in this movie. That I don't like Tony in this movie.
Yeah.
I think that RDJ plays him really well for that reason. So turn that off.
Well, this is how I'm reading the list.
I know we do. So what is 17 for you?
For me, it is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Okay.
Which when I during this watch through, I was like, man, this is a good movie. Like I was surprised by how much I was trying to keep it up when I was ranking things above it. I was like trying to make excuses for it. It's so like I love Chris Evans.
Good done.
My boy. I think in this movie they do really well of establishing his morals without being a stereotypical Boy Scout dude.
Yeah.
And we get more of that in the future movies, but I think they establish it well enough here. The downside is like it's kind of just a more or less standard World War II period piece.
Yes, exactly. Like, yeah, you've got a guy who's a Red Skull, but like, but no, like that's why it's just higher on my list than it is here.
Yeah. The Peggy Steve relationship is probably the most believable of any relationship in these movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they work really well together.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's very period piecey, and I think that's like the problem that it faces is that it really kind of lives into that, but then it's also like, but also superhero stuff, also Hydra, and it's like, well, it's like it feels a little bit like kind of thrown in there a little bit, but
like when towards the end when it's Red Skull's like last speech to his troops, and it's the CG like thousands of troops being like, "Hail Hydra!" Like,
right. It's like, oh, I wonder what they're trying to say here.
Actually, this is another one of my criticisms, is because I love the Cap Bucky relationship, but it's kind of too much of a side thing in this movie. Like, I
Yeah.
wish they built it up a little bit more than they did. Like,
Yeah,
so there's that
definitely.
montage once the whole crew's together.
Yeah.
And I wish, instead of a montage, like maybe we could get a shorter montage later on, but I wish we just got to be in one of those missions.
Yes, absolutely. I
Like,
totally
to build
agree.
the relationship, not between Cap and Bucky, but also between the whole team.
Right. I think that that's totally a shortcoming of the movie because, like, it I think my big problem when I saw Winter Soldier in theaters was like, where is this coming from? Like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, it's Bucky, but like, why is like the dynamic so like what is? And I agree. I think that they didn't
Yeah.
live into that enough.
It also doesn't help that him falling out of the train into the valley is the worst CG of any of these movies.
It's
the worst green screen.
It's so
I mean,
bad.
it's like
It's laughably bad.
like there's so much good CG in these movies, but then they have like the weird guy like clearly like spinning around as he's falling. you couldn't.
You're like, yeah, he totally
You
survived.
couldn't
Don't
pick
worry.
that up and do a
Right.
reshoot.
Right. Oh my god.
But yeah, so that's your 16 then?
That's no. That's actually my 15. My
Oh, okay.
16 is and I should say from here from 16 up, I had to find reasons. It was not easy from 16 up, I should say. For me.
Yeah.
16 for me is Age of Ultron.
Okay.
I like Age of Ultron.
That's also my 16.
Perfect. Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like Age of Ultron. I think it raises some really interesting questions about AI and protecting the world and what like the Avengers' job is. I thought, oh shoot, who voices Ultron?
James Spader.
Perfect pit.
Robert California.
Yes, Robert. That's right.
His best known role.
Yes.
His season on The Office.
Right. I really like Age of Ultron. I think it's really interesting. I like that it introduces Claw. I like that it like gives the idea of Wakanda. I like the Sokovia bit. I like the twins. I like that. What else do I like about it?
So I love Hawkeye almost exclusively because of the Matt Fraction series of like 24 issues.
Oh, sure. Okay.
If you haven't read those, and you or anybody, highly recommend. Amazing. It's like what made me fall in love with Hawkeye. After the shaft that Hawkeye got in the first Avengers movie, he has a lot of good stuff in here.
Definitely. Yes.
Even though it's not canon in the comics, I guess the family stuff is cool.
Yeah.
We'll get into that when we talk about future projects.
Right. Yes, of course.
Because I have thoughts.
That was really interesting. I thought it was a little bit weird, like Nick Fury on the farm. I thought that was a bit odd, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I remember, that scene where they're like talking about the plan in the kitchen and Nick Fury's there. That's like such a classic case of Joss Whedon just writing jokes and not cutting any of them.
Right. Yes, exactly.
I think that's one of my problems was like there are a lot of good jokes, but also some that it's like you can cut that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Definitely. I think a big shortcoming of the movie is it poses a really interesting question about AI, but then it literally just kills the question. Like, I don't know. I feel like if it would have come out today, with I don't know, we're like advances in AI are like even just a little bit more. I think we would have. I don't know. I want it to be better. Yeah. But it holds up. That's what I thought.
I think my main thing is James Spader is great, but part of me just wishes, because I remember when the trailer came out for this initially. Do you remember the first trailer where it has like the Pinocchio song super slowed down and it's terrifying?
Yeah.
I'm like one of the lines is Ultron saying like, you look up in the sky and they see hope. I'll take that from them first. And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
but then you go to the movie and it's just like he's funny like RDJ.
Yeah, yeah,
I just wish that there's like he had the same menace
yeah.
that they hinted at in the trailer.
Right. Yeah. I think another. Totally, 100%.
Yeah, it makes sense in the story. Like,
Yeah.
but I just wish.
I think something that I find really, there are two things I'm a little bit annoyed with this movie. One, I really feel like they forced in the Hulkbuster. Because I remember an interview with Joss Whedon where he was like, well, the fans wanted the Hulkbuster, so I put Hulkbuster in. And I'm like, that's not why you should do it, first of all. But the other thing is...
Gotta sell those toys.
Of course. Like the Tony Banner thing, when they're making Ultron and when they're making Vision, it's like, for me, rewatching it, and when I'm playing through, which I was talking to you about earlier, when I'm playing through video games while I'm working, at the moment I'm playing through Lego Marvel Avengers, the parallels between like Tony and Banner making Ultron and then Tony and Banner making Vision, it's like, it feels like you're like watching the first few scenes of the movie again, and it just took me out of the film.
Yeah. Plus, like Thor's whole like hot tub mystery thing.
Right.
Like hot tub time machine. Yeah. That was kind of like, I understand that was because like the higher ups wanted to prep people for the future, but I don't think you needed to do that.
No.
Like you really didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
That you didn't get from the rest of the movie.
Right.
And so
I think in general, some of the shortcomings of the movie are like, this was definitely like this was obviously a turning point in the franchise.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're going on to phase 3. Let's tease these things out.
Yeah.
So,
I will say, Vision, great. I love the scene with him in Ultron just before he kills the last Ultron, where he's like, "You're unbearably naive." And he's like, "Maybe, but I was born yesterday." I love like that whole bit.
It's great.
It's good stuff from Bettany. Yeah.
It's of course.
Cool.
Let's see. Next up for me is First Avenger, the American.
Okay.
Capping American. All right. Yeah. We've talked about.
Yeah, we talked about it. So
it's
number 15
for me. So I was just gonna say it's high. It's higher up for me. I think it's just higher up for me because it's a little bit more believable than I don't know. I think like I said, it's in some of these sections of some of these things can just be moved around. But okay, continue.
Yeah. So this, I think this is going to shock you, and it shocked me just reading it right now. Number 15 is Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know how that happened.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so Guardians is
because this is super high on your list.
It's on my list then.
Yeah. So Guardians is a great movie. Yeah. Chris Pratt's great. Rocket's great. Gamora's great.
Vin Diesel knocks it out the park.
Of course, yeah. What a weird dude.
What a weird dude.
Yeah, it's a good, funny movie. It's probably the most unique vibe of any 100%. Of the movies up to this point.
Yeah.
Because James Gunn does his thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to think why it's so low.
I couldn't tell you, Jacob. That's your decision.
I think part of it is like it's kind of hand in hand. It's the typical villain thing that we hear about for a lot of these movies, where it's like Ronan is fine.
Yeah. I feel like they play Ronan up a lot, and he just falls flat.
I think maybe what I was thinking with this, and it was probably more clear after I just watched it, but like the big thing for this movie is the character dynamics within the team, but outside of that, there's not much to go off of in the grand scheme of things with the larger story.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I'm kind of grasping at straws here because I really like this movie.
For me, if I trying to think of things that I don't like about it, Ronan, I think, is super played up. He could have been
Weak,
really
yeah.
cool. I think, and then there's the whole Captain Marvel thing, and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But like it totally just falls flat. I mean, I guess it like if I could find a few things to get grumpy about, they beat Ronan through the power of friendship, and like, cool, good job, right?
Yeah.
You know, like that's goofy. The what else is so?
It's a cool introduction to Thanos. Josh Brolin is Thanos.
Great introduction to Thanos. I thought.
It's like one scene.
Hey, but you know, this is like the most, like we finally get into like the Infinity Stones thing here, right? Like that's how it's connected to the MCU in general. Like, might I say, really weird that there's like 3 Infinity Stones on Earth, and then there's like, right? I don't know.
Well, anyway. I mean, it is because Loki brought them to Earth.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is so much higher on my list. I can't find anything bad. I love this movie. I think it's got great rewatch value. I think the Collector is great. I love the Collector. The prison. I feel like the prison thing is a little bit drawn out. If I'll
sure
think about that, but I don't know. This is. I'll tease it out. This is number 2 on my list.
Yeah, so I think I remember seeing that. I think some of it, just as a cap for me trying to explain myself, is like some of these movies, rewatching them, like I'm laughing just as much as I did the first time. I think for this one, rewatching it, the jokes didn't land as well as others.
That's fair.
Did, but
that's fair.
Yeah, great movie.
We'll get it. Well, I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to it. Next one up on my list is Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
That's number 14. We've talked about that one, so I don't need to.
Yeah, and we also talked about my number 14, which is Ant-Man.
Okay, there you go. Number 13 for me, Guardians 2.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the reason it's here, and actually, you know, thinking back on it, I don't know. Maybe I want to put it lower. I don't know. Ooh. I don't know. Like the whole like, it's so weird. It's just such a weird movie. Like I like the Nova bit. I like the dynamic between Nova and I just feel like we don't go anywhere in the in the universe. Like not Nova. Nebula. That's her name. Nova is from the Nova Corps. Anyway, but I feel like we're like just on. What's his dad's name? We're on that planet.
Ego.
We're only on Ego, like the whole movie, pretty much. Yeah. Like, we go a little bit with Yondu around the universe, but like I don't know. I feel like one of the hallmarks of the Guardians movies is that it's Guardians of the Galaxy, not Guardians of Ego. You know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just, it feels really stilted that they're like, we need to talk about, we need to justify how they took the powers, how they took the Infinity Stone through the power of friendship. You know.
Sure.
So,
if to defend it a little bit,
absolutely.
I think so. Like we talk about Guardians 1, the main thing being the relationships between the characters, and maybe the story being weaker because they don't bake it into the story necessarily. I love how much this is rooted in relationship. So it's the relationship between Star-Lord and his dad, between Star-Lord and Gamora and Nebula,
Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yeah, Star-Lord and Rocket, who by the way, love Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
He does a great job.
Vin Diesel, again, great.
Yeah, great. I mean, Baby Groot has some really good bits, like when they're in the prison, when the other Ravagers, I think is what they're called.
Yes.
And they're locked up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's great.
Some really good stuff there. Yeah. And I think visually, I like it better than Guardians 1.
Sure.
Because, I mean, it's all CG, but that doesn't mean it can't look great.
Right,
Like
exactly.
there's some
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good looking scenes in there.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Interesting.
That's okay. So what's number 14?
Uh 13, I think.
13, yes.
So that was your 13?
Yes.
My 13 is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's my number 12. So
Okay, perfect. Uh
go.
yeah, it's kind of a toss up between like if I put this one higher or Ant-Man 1 higher, because I think they're kind of similar in quality because they're back to back for me.
Sure.
I Michael Douglas has more to do here.
100%.
Yeah, Paul Rudd has some cool stuff. I like the relationship between Scott and Hope more in this one, especially because she has stuff to do now, like because she actually has a suit. She doesn't have that like haircut that they always use for strong businesswomen in movies anymore.
Yeah, the German bowl cut. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm sporting right now.
Yeah, I think it's all great, and I mean Lawrence Fishburne doesn't have a ton to do, but he does it well.
I really wish he did.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's a big shortcoming. Is like you got Lawrence Fishburne, like use him, but it turns out that he kind of sucks, like as a character, not as like an actor.
I will say one of my favorite things is the FBI storyline, and Jimmy Woo, I think, is the name of the character. I forget the actor's name, but I love him in everything. He's Asian Jim in The Office.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And he's going to be in WandaVision. So.
Oh, what? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
But like all that stuff is great with like the bits of like
tricks.
learning the shorthand magic. Yeah. It's a fun time. It's kind of it's a good feel good movie.
It's a real fun movie. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. It was great. I thought it was a little bit weird, like the plot point where what Ghost, they're trying to like save her. Like, why can't they save her and also like get like Mrs. Pym back? It's
I think they do in the end, right?
They do, but like
but in the moment,
right. That's why it's like
sure.
I don't know.
I think it's a better backstory for the villain, but just like the last fight is just kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, right. It's like I feel like again they laid a little bit into tropes, which is fine in this movie. They didn't really dig their heels in with this. But I like when he's skating around on the cars. When Ant-Man is skating around on the cars, I think it's really interesting overall, and I liked the ants. Yeah, I think they were great, and the CG is really good, I thought. So.
Even with the first movie, all the like microscopic stuff they do is really well done.
Yeah, I feel like that's another thing that I had a problem with Ant-Man 1 is that half of the movie is not Ant-Man. It's half the movie is just like man. And then it gets to Ant-Man. We don't really get to see a lot. That's why I like Doctor Strange so much, is because we like it's like 2/3 of it is Doctor Strange, whereas like so that's that.
And a last note for me, something that I like about this movie, and also something I forgot to mention about Ant-Man 1, consequences. Ant-Man 1, he fights Falcon.
Sure.
And that's what leads to him being in Civil War. And Civil War is what leads to him having that strange relationship with Hope and Hank.
Right.
And I always dig that kind of
it's a nice through line. Yeah. Nice.
So that's my 13 and your 12, right?
Yeah.
So my 12 is Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Which you can make a case to be higher. Honestly, I was surprised how much I liked it on the second viewing.
Yeah?
Because like I liked it the first time, but I kind of figured it would be towards like the 15 to 18 range.
We should have clarified at the very beginning. I watched through these in release order. Is that how you watch them?
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So
yeah, that's the only way to watch them.
Chronologically doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like it. Brie Larson's cool.
Great.
She is hindered by having to do the like memory thing.
Yeah.
So that she's not herself.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, but it slowly creeps up. But she does well with it.
No, I totally agree. That is something that I wish was different. It's one of those things where it's like, well, I came to see Captain Marvel and I saw Captain Marvel in the last half of it. And yeah, I think it's really cool that we get to see like the Kree in this. I really think that the CG on Samuel Jackson is both weird and really good.
Yeah.
Like
and Clark Gregg Coulson with like the toupee or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
It's funny.
I think that the jokes hit really well.
I wish they leaned into the 90s aesthetic more.
Definitely. I totally agree. Like we get like Blockbuster.
Yeah. And it's like,
there's
really a Radio Shack down the street. It's like,
right. Okay, cool.
Anything else?
right. Yeah. I think, we really gear up for, I think one of the things I wish they did a little bit more was had, what's Carol Danvers' friend's name? Yeah,
Monica.
Monica. I wish there was a little bit more Monica. Because I know that she's like a bigger deal in the comics, but she's a badass character. Yeah. Like she's like one of like the first strong Black characters we get in the Marvel universe, and like she's kind of passed to the side. So
and it would set up. I mean, I guess we'll find out because her daughter is going to be aged up.
Oh,
do you want to know this?
Oh no, don't.
Okay.
But there's stuff coming for. Okay.
Yeah, there's stuff coming.
So
yeah, I won't say anything more about that. I'll wink for the audience who knows.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good. It's fun. I dig the twists because in the comics, usually the idea is that the Kree, like you're helping the Kree, and then the Skrulls are the villains. But then the twist that the Skrulls are actually like you don't expect that.
You don't.
And I like that. And Ben Mendelsohn, underrated actor.
Totally underrated. I think he's great.
He's great in this. He's great in Rogue One.
Yeah.
He did an HBO miniseries. I still have to see it. I think it's a Stephen King thing.
It.
Yes. He's Pennywise.
I think a big thing that brings this up on my list is that, again, it's one of those humanizing things of the universe. It kind of, I'm annoyed we don't get to see a lot of Ronan. It'd be really cool. I want Ronan to be a bigger character.
Yeah, when they announced he was going to be in it, I was like, oh, they're going to like redeem.
Yeah.
Not redeem, but like redeem him being in these movies.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of the same thing as before.
Right. So what, we're at 11 now?
11, yeah.
11 for me is The Avengers.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
It's literally middle of the pack. This movie holds a really it holds a nice place in my heart.
Yeah.
I think my big problems with it, and it's the Hawkeye thing. I think it was definitely in the throes of like, we've got a lot of money, let's use our money. I think some of
we'll make more money from that money.
Right, exactly. I think that some of the things why it's here in the middle and not like higher up, I think it's the Hawkeye thing. It's the it's so weird. Like when the Avengers we start off with the Avengers all meeting after Stuttgart, and that's great, and like the fight with like Cap and Tony and Thor is cool.
Yeah.
But like we then like halfway through the movie they're broken up again, and it's like, why is it what?
Yeah.
What is
I think it's a thing where like I found, because I've seen this movie probably the most of any of these movies.
Sure.
And I think just like
Oh,
this
I own it
rewatch
on
is like,
Blu-ray.
oh yeah, of course. I think it's just one of those cases where it's like with where we are now
Yeah,
with these characters and their relationships, it's just kind of like all right, I want to get to the good
definitely.
stuff.
Definitely.
Which isn't its fault. It's just kind of it's a product of having all these other movies after it.
100%.
I do dig the when they're arguing, especially just like the way it's blocked, where it's like the one shot of like going through
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them. Yeah, I do dig that stuff, and having Ruffalo come in as Hulk is still
Saved
a
Hulk.
great, yeah. If it was Edward Norton, it probably wouldn't be as good.
Oh, 100% not.
Yeah.
So 11 for you.
11 for me is Iron Man, which we talked about.
Yeah. Okay. 10 for me is, I think there's a big upset, Infinity War.
This is hard for me to swallow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think what Endgame does that Infinity War doesn't is, I think, no, okay. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, try to explain this.
So Infinity War is really struggling with, they did a really good, you and I saw it together. You saw how amazed I was after we saw it. Like, you remember it was like 2 a.m. and we were driving back to campus.
Yeah.
Like, it was great.
And then I texted you like once I got back to my dorm.
Yes,
I was like, I have an idea for the second one.
Yeah. I remember that.
Which ended up being true.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. You wrote the script.
Yeah. Still don't have the money.
Joss. That audio is going to be messed up. I don't know. I don't know how I can explain, because it's a great movie.
It is.
It's. I think in watching them through in release order, and it might have just been that I just watched them back to back too quickly. I feel like they do a really good job of juggling all of the storylines and all of the actors.
Yeah.
But I feel like the ones that come to mind are like the Rocket Groot Thor thing and then adding Peter Dinklage in there. I feel like that was a little forced. What else happens in Infinity War? They fight an infinite war. I think
we're still living the movie right now.
Right, yeah. The Hulk comes back, kind of like, and this is, I feel like that's another thing. It's like they don't really have time to the characters don't have time to process and I don't know, maybe that's part of the whole writing, is that you're feeling the same way that the characters are, they don't really have time to process things. I think they did a really good job splitting everything up. I don't know. I really love the movie. It's just lower on my list.
What I'll say about it, this will be much higher on my list. So to kind of, as a jumping off point, you talk about the Thor, Rocket, Groot trio as they're juggling that. That has some of my favorite stuff in Thor's character development throughout the entire series.
That's fair.
So there's
definitely.
that scene where he's talking about he's like, he lost his mom, he lost his brother 3 times, he lost his dad, he lost Heimdall. It's just it in that moment you kind of realize Thor's probably lost the most of any of these people.
Right.
And the way he delivers that is really good. And the way even though Rocket's still being Rocket and being sarcastic, you still get that emotion from it. Sure. And so this is Consequences, the movie. So all of that comes to a head. You still have Tony kind of trying to save the world because he's caused some of its biggest problems.
Yep.
Spider-Man, still great. I do wish Cap had a little bit more to do, but then it would be a 3.5-hour movie.
Right.
And it just has some of the coolest moments.
Yeah.
of like when Thor shows up on Earth with
That's
Stormbreaker
great.
and the
That's
music
great.
blasting.
Yeah.
The whole fight with Thanos on Titan with Iron Man and the Guardians and Strange.
Mhm.
Oh, Doctor Strange, kind of an unsung hero in this movie. He's great.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, okay. Sorry. Don't mean to cut you off. I think something that it really, I don't know if, again, I think it's probably a writing decision. They're trying to make you feel the way like, that like it's the slow build up to this really big climax thing. Like thinking back on it, like there was like a lot of like Thanos, Gamora, Nebula things.
Yeah.
And like that's really good. It's really interesting to finally see that. But like I don't know. I feel like you could have like done more of that in Guardians. I don't know. I'm trying to think
I think
of
it helps
things.
because it basically makes this movie like the Thanos movie plus the Avengers.
Yes.
Because that's, I mean, as we've talked about throughout a lot of these movies, is one of the biggest problems is the villains. And here you get it. You know why he's trying to do it. And it's not like a evil for evil's sake thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
that's why he's like one of my favorite villains. Like, I mean, obviously, like he's the villain, but it's like, you know, and everyone can make the argument, well, why not just make more food? Like, right, get it, but
sure.
He's a villain, so like he's gonna be a bad guy.
Then we have Wall-E, where everyone's just fat.
Who's the bigger villain here?
And of course, Thanos and Gamora on the planet with Red Skull and him sacrificing her.
Woof.
That music is insane. Some people might think it's like overstated, but I love it.
I don't think so. I think that's one of the. I love that. I love that.
It's so well done. And then of course it's. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just gonna say it's hard to not talk about this movie and talk about all of its merits and not talk about the ending and how impactful that is. Where there's no music. It's just the as people are fading away, and then you cut to Thanos, small smile on his farm,
right?
And then it just cuts to credits. And it's not like in all the other Marvel movies, there's some huge credit sequence. This is just black, white text, or yellow text, or whatever it is.
One of the reasons I love this movie is because after we saw it, we walked outside in Huntington, Pennsylvania, middle of like 2 a.m. It's dark as fuck. It's so quiet. Like the train's not even going by. And I'm like, where
do you even begin?
Right. The memory of it has such a big impact. And like,
and just like the moment in the theater of like at like the very end, where usually it says like Spider-Man will return or the Avengers will return. It says Thanos will return.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. So good. I love it. All right, we got to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, that one deserves the extended talk, I think, at least for me, apparently.
I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. What I was going to say is that from 10 up, it's really difficult for me. This is not an easy list to make.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, basically, once we get to number 6, my top 6 could flip at any moment depending on how I feel. That's like the real kill your babies for me. So that was number 10 for you?
Yeah.
Number 10 for me, Guardians 2. Already talked about that.
Already talked about it. 9 for me, one of my favorites. Like up until my number 1, this was my favorite. And it's actually down to 9, Civil War. I love Civil War.
You are breaking my heart right now. How?
Because I think there are better movies. I love Civil War so much. It's pretty much Avengers. It's pretty much an Avengers film, right?
Although it does definitely focus on Steve.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's why it sucks. I think one of the big reasons why I don't like this movie is because it's the Tony thing. It's this problem that I have with Tony Stark, where he can't understand that Bucky literally does not remember killing his parents. Like, sure, the Winter Soldier killed his parents, but Bucky Barnes
Like he
did not
says,
kill.
that's what Steve says, and then Tony's like, I don't care. He killed my mom.
That's why I don't like it, because Tony sucks. I feel like Tony ruins this movie a little bit.
So this is also much higher on my list.
Sure.
Here's my thing: this is, I mean, I keep saying this, consequences.
Mhm.
Like
The
this
movie.
is I think this is RDJ's best performance outside of maybe Endgame.
Yeah.
Like the way the reason he's doing all of this, the reason he's for the Accords and all that is because he caused all this, basically. And he feels responsible.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting heel turn where it's like usually if this was Iron Man 1, he'd probably be on the other side.
100%.
But and Steve would probably be on the other side. But like Steve doesn't want to see his friends hurt, and he also is like, well, what if we need to go somewhere that they don't want us to go, and all that kind of thing. Just like their relationship is so well done in this movie, and especially having Bucky and having Falcon as his wingmen.
Yeah.
Like so
Literally.
So yeah. So well done. And like, I mean, obviously the airport fight scene is like a top fiver.
I mean, yeah.
In these movies, but the fight with just Steve, Tony, and Bucky at the end is like heartbreaking. With like the music and just like that whole thing and his I can do this all day.
Yeah.
Like the culmination of that thing is so.
I love it.
Here for me.
I love it. I think I remember why I don't like this movie, and it's the villain in the movie, which I understand the villain is actually themselves, but it's, I feel like that's so, what's his face? What is his name?
Zemo.
It's just such a weird, like, there's no way that he infiltrated he infiltrated SHIELD, which is Hydra, and it's just, I feel like his character is so not believable. Like he's able to like guess their next moves or like move them on to like the next, like, oh, I know that they're gonna come and see like the other super soldiers. Like I feel like that was so, I don't know, I feel like it was a little bit forced there. It was just not believable enough that it brought it down on the list.
I really like him, and I think the plan is like just believable enough to be like the kind of more of a breadcrumbs thing.
Sure.
To compare it to something else, I've just started doing a DC EU rewatch with my dad.
So sorry.
A lot less fun. Just did Batman v Superman. Lex Luthor's plan in that is insane.
Oh no.
It's way worse.
Oh,
it's
gosh.
like and those two movies came out in the same like 2 months from each other. And they're like pretty similar, like just structure wise, in that they're pitting the superheroes against each other.
Yeah.
And Lex Luthor's plan is like 12 games of chess at the same time. But he's using one board for mahjong and he's using another for checkers. It's like, what are you doing here? How does this make sense?
I've only seen that movie once in theaters, and the movies, me and my friend were the only people in the movie theater at that time, and the movie stopped playing twice during, so we had to go and tell them to put the movie on.
Nice.
So, all right, what are we at?
Love Civil War. That was 9 for you, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Thor Ragnarok is my 9.
Oh,
which feels low, but yeah. It's a fun time.
It's a great movie.
It's the best Thor movie.
Yep.
Taika Waititi, I love every movie I've seen him do. I've seen 100%. What We Do in the Shadows. I've seen Jojo Rabbit. I just watched Hunt for the Wilder People. All great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he does a really good job of reinvigorating.
This is a turning point in the Thor series. Like we're finally away from like the Norse ridiculousness. And it's like
Yeah.
it's a good feel good movie. You've got Jeff Goldblum playing Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
right? That's great.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo is, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Another reason why I don't like Infinity War. Not that I don't like Infinity War. One of the reasons why I think Infinity War is a little bit lower on the list is because, like, what is like the Hulk thing? It's so, like, we don't get any Mark Ruffalo in Infinity War. Like, we barely do. Barely. Like,
it's all Mark Ruffalo because he can't turn into the Hulk.
That's my problem. Thor Ragnarok, I think it's great. I think it's very funny.
Yeah.
I love a comedy. I really love Valkyrie.
Tessa Thompson. Yeah.
Yep.
She's great. Hela is a little bit weak.
Hela's
the immigrant song bit.
Yeah.
Where they play it at the beginning and the end is also top 5.
Yeah.
Like there's so many really good shots in this moment that are like Renaissance paintings, like the flashback to Valkyries fighting Hela. And when Thor gets his lightning powers back and like at the end an immigrant song starts playing. So good. That's why I kind of wish in, like we talked about when Thor shows up on Earth for Infinity War being really cool. I kind of wish they played immigrant song, but I get it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think so. Speaking of bad CG, bad green screen. Hi, Pip. When Thor and Loki are talking to Odin on the edge of the fjord or whatever, on the edge of the cliffs, that is so, like, that's terrible green screen. And that takes me out of the movie. I hate that so much.
Yeah, I think that was a last minute thing. I think that was supposed to be at a different location or something in the original script or something. Yeah.
I love it. It's higher up on my list.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Which is totally understandable.
I think it's got great rewatch value.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sure.
All right, next.
Number 8?
Number 8 is, I think, another big upset. It's Endgame. For me.
I'll spoil this right now. You just put my top 3 in your 9, 10, 11 spot.
Oh, no. That's fair. I think that they are great movies.
Yeah.
I think, so my top 6 are origin stories, and I think that's why Endgame is so low. I think for me, I think it's just like a personal thing. I think that they were really juggling a lot of stories in Endgame. I love Endgame. Don't get me. It's not. This is at number 8. It's not.
No, you hate it. It's fine.
Yeah, I hate. It's, it's been critiqued time and time again. I think that I don't know. I'm trying to find things that I don't like. Okay. The Thor, like the Thanos going into the future thing, to me, it's a little weird. Like, I understand that they have to fight Thanos again. I get that. I don't know, the cat in the closet. I thought the Nebula thing was a little odd. That made me just mad in general, I think. And I mean, it'll get me every time. Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
On what's it called? With Fred
Morag. No, not Morag.
Yeah, we know.
Maybe it is. I think it is Morag. Yeah.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah.
But I think I maybe a reason why it's lower on my list is because the superheroes are going to win, right? Not everyone wins.
But yeah, at what cost?
At what does the man make the suit?
Turns out the suit was imperative in this case.
Right. In fact, it kind of helped him not die immediately. I think something that I don't like about it is in the final fight is the girl boss scene where it's like all the female superheroes are
I
coming in.
I appreciate the sentiment. You could do it better, I think.
Right, like give them their own movies or something. What else? What else? Why is it lower? It's lower because I really like the movies that are above it.
Sure.
Is the thing. I mean, that's
it's hard for me to put this movie any lower than 5 because the portal scene exists. You know, like that's if we're talking about top 5 moments in this series, that's number 1.
Is 100.
And like on your left, are you kidding me?
That
it's so good. And I think they do time travel really well. It would be really easy to mess it up and make it really dumb.
Yeah,
I think they handle it well. I like the 5 years later moment is kind of like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
I really dig that they had the guts to do that and to like really dig into how these characters dealt with losing half of their friends, and their drive to save them.
2 things. One thing I really loved about seeing these movies as they came out was the time that we waited between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate it more. Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. And that's why doing a rewatch, I don't think you should do them like day after day. I think you need time to process them.
Yeah.
Another thing, I think, I don't know, at the very end, like Captain Marvel comes in and like saves the day. And it's like, I don't know, like it, like I get that she's been in the universe saving everyone else while everyone is trying to like fix stuff on Earth. And I don't know, I feel like it's like, well, yeah, like obviously, I don't know. That's how that is for me.
Yeah.
So
also the Tony death is gut-wrenching.
Yeah. At least you get to see the kid again.
Yeah, that was really cool. So that was 8 for you?
Yes.
Avengers 1, already talked about it.
Yeah. 7 for me, Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Because I think they do the origin story, like I've said, I think they do the origin story really well, and I think that you get to the point with Doctor Strange.
Sure. Number 7 for me is Black Panther.
Black Panther is 5 for me.
Okay.
I think that Black Panther, if you're looking at the Marvel movies as movies, Black Panther is like the most real of, like, it's like a movie rather than like a comic book movie, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it raises a bunch of questions. It raises a lot of like socio-political questions. It raises a lot of race questions.
Yeah.
You know, because like Killmonger's not a villain. Yeah. Like he is, but he's not.
Yeah.
So
he kills it. Michael B. Jordan.
He mongers it.
Yeah. I think the only negative thing that I would say about it is that it is like it has all those things, but it almost throws it away by the end, where they just have like a weird CG Black Panther fight in the basement for the ending, which is a little disappointing. But that also leads you to a really great death scene for Michael B. Jordan,
right?
Where he's just staring out at it, at like the ocean or whatever.
You want to talk about bad CG? I really wanted the waterfall fights to be like, I wanted it to be better CG, but like just like the background, the lighting is just like
I didn't notice it.
It always takes me out. It always like it takes me out of the film every time. Okay, so what's
that was my 7.
Number 6 for me is Captain Marvel.
Okay.
We've talked about Captain Marvel. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah,
I love it.
So now that we're at 6, this is the territory where this movie could easily be number 1.
Sure.
It's just how I feel on the day. In fact, some could argue that this should be number 1. Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, amazing film.
It's probably the best made of any of these, honestly. Like it's just a pure political thriller.
100%. Yeah.
Thing, and like Cap and his relationship with Bucky, like their fight like out in the streets in
good.
Cleveland, by the way.
Oh.
Shout out. Like with him flipping the knife and everything, and it's all hand to hand. Probably the best choreography of the series, of the MCU. Yeah, I love this movie. Sam is really good. Falcon.
Great. Yeah.
Excited to see more of him and
Yeah,
Bucky interacting in their show.
Love that.
Yeah.
Project Insight is really cool because it brings like I mean, since Avengers, you're questioning the morals of Shield, but I think that Project Insight really shows you like, they're definitely infiltrated by Hydra.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Oh, it's great.
That whole like the whole Hydra bit and like the reveal of that is really well done.
So good. That's a great twist. Love that.
Yeah. And chat, that's also right when Agents of Shield gets really good.
I was gonna say I've really tried to rewatch Agents of Shield, and I'm halfway through season 1 and really struggling.
Yeah. So once you get to the point where that kicks in, which is towards the end of season 1, like it gets good. Yeah. Okay,
good to know.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. Good. And
it's so good.
Chris Evans, that suit that he has at the beginning, like the blue with the silver, is probably my favorite Captain America 100%. Suit. Yeah, so good. Love Winter Soldier. Yeah.
5 for me is Black Panther. We talked about that.
Yeah. I think this is your number 1, and I completely get it. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah,
is number
it is
5 for me right now, which again could be number 1 easily.
Sure.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about Spider-Man in Civil War. Tom Holland is perfect.
He's the best Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The reason I like Homecoming so much is because we've how many times have we had a Spider-Man origin story, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were just like, get it out of here. Yeah. I think I really like the Tony. Like Tony's in it just enough.
It's just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, do you remember in the trailer they have a shot of Spider-Man swinging with Iron Man right by him? That's not in the movie.
No, where is it?
Yeah, it's. I'm glad it isn't.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it could just be the last shot of the movie. Like that kind of thing. But yeah, Tony's really good in it. One of my favorite scenes in the MCU is when just after the boat incident, and Tony's like, "I'm gonna need the suit back." Like that whole bit, I love so much.
Did you not even hear?
Yeah,
steps
exactly.
Out of the suit.
Yeah. Michael Keaton.
Keaton's
if Thanos isn't the number 1, Vulture is.
That right.
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the reasons why it's my number 1, because the villain, it plays into the first of all, the high school characters are actually believable high school characters. They're not like 24-year-old. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is. I'm as old as Tom Holland.
I think when they shot it, the only person who was like over the age of 20 is Liz.
Oh yeah,
whoever plays Liz. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I think she's like 28 right now or something.
Jeez. I think that they. Yeah, I just think that
him and Ned are cute.
Great. It's amazing. You get enough of great. Zendaya kicks it out of the park.
Yeah.
You get enough Spider-Man and you get enough taste of the MCU writ large that you're just pleased enough. It's a great movie. Thank you, Sony, for doing it.
For doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah. Let's see.
That's my 5. So you're 4.
4, Ragnarok for me.
Okay. Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I think it's a great movie.
My 4, I'll just say, and then we can move on. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. It's
I haven't
really
seen
good.
It. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Get on that.
3 for me is Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Could easily be number 1.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum.
My number 3 is Infinity War. I love it.
Yeah. No,
all killer, no filler, I say.
That's very fair. No, 100%. I think that's really good. I mean, they saw the challenge ahead of them and they were like, fuck, we got 3 hours, like, let's go. Yeah. Number 2 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I love it because it's got great rewatch value and it's fun. It's like the dynamic is fun. The jokes I personally think the jokes hit every time.
Sure.
I think that, like I said, it's kind of your first like preview into MCU writ large, and that's why it's higher up on my list. So
yeah. Number 2 for me is Civil War. I was just thinking I do want to add to my thoughts on Civil War. Another 2 of my favorite scenes in the MCU, in addition to that Spider-Man one, is the scene when Steve and them are captured, or they're just like arrested technically.
Sure.
And they're hanging out, and then Tony comes in to try to swing him to his side. Like that, their whole argument there is so well constructed and performed. And also just the scene, basically the entire last fight scene, and then them leaving. Or them leaving Tony on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I also love when Cap comes in and helps everyone escape from jail.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great scene.
Yeah. I will say Civil War has my least favorite Stan Lee cameo, which is Tony Stank. You can't do that after the emotional toll the previous 2 hours did. You have to do that in like minute 10. You can't do that right at the end. Ugh. But that's it. Yeah.
Anyway. And then we know number 1 for me is someone they're walking the dog or something. Number 1 for me, it's Homecoming. Love it. I think it's a great movie. Kicks out of the park.
Yeah. Endgame for me on this list. But again, could be any of the last 5 movies I talked about. So.
100%. I want to keep this conversation going. I want to talk about. I was like looking forward to. I read nothing about Legends. I really wanted it to be something different, and it's just like, have you watched any of them?
No.
It's not worth it.
Is it just like scenes?
It's just.
I kind of figured that's what it was.
That's all it is. But yeah, let's just say I'm hyped for WandaVision. I'm hyped for Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah.
What are the other? I don't even know what the other ones are because I'm.
Do we just want to read the list and talk about our most excited, what we're most excited for?
Yeah.
So WandaVision in 2 days. So pumped.
So pumped.
Falcon and Winter Soldier in March.
Yeah.
Black Widow in May, hopefully.
Let's hope.
Loki in May.
Interested for that. I'm really.
Yeah, that trailer sold me on it.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, the movie in July.
Which stars Simu Liu, who is in Kim's Convenience, which if you're looking for a sitcom to watch, it's worth a watch.
Okay.
It's a nice...
scrolled past it on Netflix the other day.
It's a fun watch. It's very fun. Cool. That also has Awkwafina in it. Who also is in the live Little Mermaid. So Disney's really getting their money's worth out of Awkwafina.
All right. Yeah.
So
What If will be this summer, which is that animated series. That has potential to be cool.
That does.
Eternals, the movie in November. Miss Marvel and Hawkeye are scheduled to be at the end of this year sometime. Okay. I'm pumped for both of those.
Nice.
Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, which is like the young Hawkeye.
Oh yes, in the Lego Marvel Avengers movie, game.
Yeah,
you get to play as her.
Yeah, I'm pumped for. I think that's like perfect casting for Kate Bishop.
That's awesome.
And it looks to be based off of that Hawkeye run that I was talking about from Matt Fraction.
Oh, nice.
Which him being married and living on a farm kind of like makes that less doable, but I have faith that they'll get the spirit at least, and I think Haley Steinfeld will kill it. Spider-Man 3 supposed to be this December.
So I should see the second one.
Yeah. Have you seen the rumors surrounding that?
No, not at all.
I will say nothing. Another wink for the audience. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
With
sorry, the squirrel's itching.
Oh, gotcha. Right now. Yeah. Scarlet Witch is going to be in that.
Oh, nice. I should
another
say, I like again, like so you saw Iron Fist, right?
Yes.
That's my least favorite of all of those.
Yeah.
I will say. I
Yeah,
think
for
it's the
sure.
worst. Who was the villain in the second season? Yeah,
Isn't it like a disease?
yeah, what's his name? He hasn't, I don't know. But he was one of the same thing with Iron Fist happened with Doctor Strange, where like obviously his friend in the first one is the villain in the second one.
Oh
Like
yeah.
right. And so I'm interested to see how they do Doctor Strange with that. Because
Yeah.
like that's what I was thinking in Doctor Strange, and then I saw this announcement. I was like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
I'm sure he'll be like one of the villains in there, but just the subtitle and the multiverse of madness gives me hope that it's going to be off the rails.
I'm hoping,
especially since Elizabeth Olsen is going to be in it.
Yeah.
So they're going to be doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Thor: Love and Thunder.
That was me being.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Yeah. With the what is it to like open the thing? He's like to open the eye of Aga. Yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder. Still Taika Waititi. Natalie Portman's back.
I hope it doesn't suck. That's
I don't think it will.
I hope it does.
Yeah. Black Panther 2. Supposed to be 2022.
Which
I'm optimistic. Yeah.
I'm optimistic, but that's going to be rough. I mean,
I don't envy that writing task.
No, I don't. It's
dealing with that.
A true legend. Like in all seriousness, that's
absolutely. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom on Netflix. It's a movie adaptation of like a play, and he stars in it, and it's really well done.
Oh, cool. Okay, check it out.
Captain Marvel 2. Miss Marvel is supposed to be in that.
Which one? Kamala Khan or?
Yeah, Kamala, because she has her show, and so I don't know if it's gonna be take place before or after that. Yeah, that's
you just
supposed to come out
mentioned
at the end of this year. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm pumped for that. I love Miss Marvel.
That was one of the ones we read for Comics and Culture.
Right. Yeah. There's going to be a Moon Knight show, allegedly with Oscar Isaac, not confirmed, but I think that's basically what all signs are pointing to.
Oh, cool! I love Moon Knight.
Yeah, and I love Oscar Isaac.
Well, I love Isaac's the restaurant.
Yeah, Inside Llewyn Davis is a movie I just watched starring Oscar Isaac.
Okay.
Great movie. It's on Amazon Prime. Highly recommend. And a She-Hulk show. That's supposed to be kind of like a crime drama comedy thing that I kind of dig.
Sure.
It'll be unique, and Mark Ruffalo is supposed to be in there.
Oh, hell yeah.
And love Mark. The Abomination, Tim Roth from Incredible Hulk is supposed to come back.
Really?
Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
There's more?
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just rattle these off. So then Guardians 3.
Of course.
And the holiday special that they're doing should be fun. Ant-Man and what is it? It's like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Yeah.
And Kane the Conqueror is going to be in there.
Solace. Who is?
Kane the Conqueror, who's a huge Avengers villain.
Oh, what?
Yeah, played by Jonathan Majors, who I just saw in The Five Bloods, who's also really good.
I hope they don't throw that away.
I don't think they will. I think he'll be in there, but he'll show up again after this.
I hope so.
Yeah. Fantastic Four, directed by John Watts, who did Spider-Man.
Because we haven't had a Fantastic Four movie in 3 years, so.
Well, we've had 2 iterations of Fantastic Four, and neither are good. So I trust that they can actually make it good. I still hope the most common fan cast is John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. I hope that happens. That would be amazing. Or Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Mr. Fantastic would also be good.
Of course.
And then the Secret Invasion show, Ironheart, Armor Wars are all shows.
Okay.
I'm optimistic. I think all those will be good. It's Don Cheadle is for Armor Wars, and Ironheart is a new character.
Oh, okay.
Or newer character in the comics, but like a different character that we haven't seen in the shows or movies. And Secret Invasion is Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. So I'm sure that'll be great.
Oh, that'll be great.
And then Distant Future, Blade with Mahershala Ali. Should be really good.
Shit.
They just announced this like 2 days ago, Deadpool 3 in the MCU with Ryan Reynolds and still being rated R. Yeah. That's going to be off the walls. And then we assume X-Men will show up at some point.
Sure. You failed to mention Daredevil.
Dude, I hope, I've been thinking this since Far From Home, and no spoilers, I just want Daredevil and Spider-Man to interact. I hope he shows up in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. He does, what's his face? Does such a good
Charlie
job.
Cox. Yeah.
He's
so good. Yeah. Daredevil is easily the best of those shows, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm finishing Jessica Jones right now, and I'm struggling with season 3. It's just kind of boring. Like Hellcat, like you're really like ham-fisting that. Like there's no anyway.
I do feel bad for those actors other than Charlie Cox. I feel like they kind of got the short end of the stick because Netflix was like, you're canceled actually. Like, sorry,
hashtag canceled.
Yeah.
Hey Jacob, this was fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
I love being able to talk about this stuff, and someone finally would do it with me.
That's right. That's what I'm all talking about too. Well, we have sufficiently we've almost gone to an hour and 45 minutes. So this is definitely a special Brew Bag on the Rocks episode. Bonus content.
Yeah. This is for true bonus content. And we'll have actual content soon because we're supposed to be recording in a couple days an actual Brew Bag. So
I will not be there.
Yeah.
I only join these calls when I'm coming home from Ohio or when it's just me and Jacob.
We start our own separate podcast.
Sorry, my squirrels.
Oh, of course.
Head switched again.
Good bit.
Good bit. All right, Jacob. Well, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy Impeachment Day.
The MCU is finally coming back.
Happy MC New Year.
Yeah.